Okay, this is the QA session for Wednesday. And the questions that I'm getting here. First one, not related to tonight's topic, but it's related to Aramaic. What is the meaning of the Aramaic word we've translated into English, Lord? So the word is mar, is the actual Aramaic word, which means master, Lord, not as a title in the English system. It's so Maria is our Lord God, Yahweh. Okay, so you could, we say the Lord God. Maran, which is from Mar, Maran Yeshua Amshiha means our Lord Jesus, the Messiah, the Messiah, or Messiah. So it is used as an honorary title, and can be translated. We're used to it as Lord, but it's also like when you say Maran Yeshua, our master teacher, Yeshua. So and people use it outside of just the religious definition. So it's a common word, but also it's used sometimes for saints. Mar so and so, Mar. So if you go travel in the Near East, you'll see a lot of churches named Mar Yonan. The Lord, what we'd call John. So it has many meanings, but a lot of them are basically an honorary title of somebody that, as a saint. As I said, you can refer to God as Maria, and Jesus as our master teacher. If you say Maran Yeshua, as the Jesus the man, if you are trying to honor the Christ, which became his title later after he died, and used a lot by the Apostle Paul. You can use it for Paul himself. Some people use that, Marbulos or Paulos, the Lord. So hopefully that helps with the explanation. Okay. Next question. That there was a question that we could ask questions, and the answer is absolutely yes, please. Did Jesus believe in any form of punishment? What about courts, judges, and jail? Okay, this is a really good question. Jesus did believe in punishment, but the punishment is usually self-inflicted in his method. We are the hardest ones on ourselves. Very few of us have the disconnection and their way of thinking, that they feel good about hurting somebody, or they can rationalize doing something bad and getting the benefits of that, and feeling good that they got away with it. I believe, and I think that was the foundation of Jesus's thinking, is that when we do something bad, it against our soul, against the way we are, because foundationally we are born good. That's his thinking, which is maddening, because in today's Christianity, a lot of people believe that they were born bad. They were born evil. They are, the victims of the original sin. All those were teachings of the church. They were not teachings of Jesus. Jesus is foundationally believed. That's why he talks a lot about being born again, and let the children come to me, or you need to become like a child to get the message of the kingdom. So he knew that when we are born pure of spirit. We have clean, beautiful souls that come into this world to experience it, and then slowly get corrupted by the teachings of the world and the experience of the world. A lot of us get jaded and become hardened by, if you were born into a country that's suffering from famine, you barely make it through childhood with malnutrition and maybe a beat up body and so forth. It's hard to look back and say, the world is a wonderful place, and I came to a beautiful place. Surprisingly, a lot of people who are born into those situations don't have a lot of material stuff and so forth, and they live on faith and on the charity of others. They build also really good faith in that the ship is going to show up and it's going to have wheat on it. And I'm going to be, I'm going to find my food, and I'm going to grow up, and I'm going to go to a school that's supported by somebody else in the world who doesn't even know me and will take care of me. And those people grow up to be really good people. But then you do have the opportunity of somebody twisting that and saying, look, the world doesn't care about you. That ship that you were expecting didn't show up, and they can use that and send you in the wrong direction. So, and those are the false messiahs that he was talking about. And to be honest, if the world goes through that end that Jesus predicted, and get us into a place where we are, caring about ensuring that these people eat. One of the thoughts that came to me as I was reading this is like and thinking about the temple actually specifically. And then I look around. I just came from travels. I was in Australia. We have these beautiful just massive structures. A lot of people go to places and visit the mosques and the churches and the temples because we build them in such a beautiful way. And I was thinking, how could a rich person rationalize putting so much money into these buildings when there is like a single person in their community who's going to bed hungry, right? So maybe we make a pact. When the time comes and the kingdom is dominant, that we will build these places, these meeting places, to have people come and gather and join hands and so forth in prayer and in sharing blessings and sharing food and so forth. But we will do it. Initially, we'll do these simple places, dedicate a piece of land for us to meet in, maybe a tent to meet under, but let's not build these massive buildings and spend the money on that infrastructure when we can use that money to feed the poor in our community. When we annihilate that type of struggle, when we can put everybody under a roof so they are not cold at night or dying from heat during the summer and so forth, then let's take that leftover money and put it into a building. The world would change if we had that change in mindset. And I believe a lot of rich people who are followers of Jesus think that way. They don't build monuments for themselves, the church that was built by the family of, or the college that was, the building that was built by the name of the family of. Instead, that money is going in secret, hidden, right? Jesus told us that when you do the good work, just give, and don't announce it. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand did. So this is his way of saying we can really improve society. There is enough money to feed everybody. There is enough money to put a roof on top of everybody. Now back to the question. So this is about punishment. Okay, so when you do go, I don't know, and I don't want to judge anybody, but I think people who do bad things have a hard time sleeping, have a hard time reconciling, have a hard time enjoying the fruits of the bad works that they've done. Even they might come across pompous and so forth. And we also go through stages in our lives. They might not feel it in their 30s and 40s when they're feeling that they know everything, but they might feel it when they're 70 or 80 and go like, what the heck was I thinking when I was 30? We see it now. A lot of the billionaires in the world are constantly announcing how they're going to give all their money when they die, or maybe some of them even before they die, back to charity, back to good causes. So you can see that maturity when they were sitting as CEOs and so forth and saying more money for me and for my company and for my investors, that after a while having all this money did not bring them happiness. So when they're 60 or 70, they're going like, how can I give this money back? How can I invest in countries that we practically raped with our factories and so forth, and now we want to give back to reestablish their good soil and feed the people we made suffer. They feel responsible. So that's the kind of punishment that Jesus talked about. Now, he also warned against the legal system. He said the legal system will exist because it's our way of solving problems. But he recommended that we work with each other before things get to the lawyers and the courts and the judges. So once you get into that system, nobody wins but that system. So that was, and there's quite a bit in Matthew. I covered it in some of my previous thoughts, but he does very specifically once. It's like if you're walking, because in his time, that there was no lawyer. It was basically the judge had the final say, and the judges made their money. Those specific judges, there are two types of judges in his time. There were the good wise people who sat in the middle of town and the piazza or the town center, and people knew them and they seeked them to solve their problems. And they were fair because they were part of the community. They wanted to see the community. They had the wisdom, and they knew also the inner workings of the community. Now, if you choose not to go to those people, he called them the peacemakers, actually. He said, blessed are the peacemakers, because they do the work of God. They solve problems that do arise between people, but they solve them in a fair way and in a way that does not create more trouble. Now, he said, go there first, but if you don't, and you decide to so the other party doesn't want to go there, and they drag you into the court, which might be in another town, or it might be just a few more steps walking. Try to solve the problem before you get to the judge, because once the system takes a hold of your case, you can't shake it off. You can't end it. Okay, now it's not in your hands. It's not in the hands of either the plaintiff or the victim. So that's the Jesus method. Is I always said, and before I even started studying Jesus, when I moved here and I saw how people solve problems via lawyers and lawsuits, my dream is to end my life before I have to go through the legal system towards anything. I try to prepare for it ahead of time. I try to write my documents ahead of time, communicate my wishes ahead of time, so people don't try to take me or anything I have to court. And I do try to solve problems. Sometimes I paid more than I should have paid, just because I knew that if we would go to court, it would cost probably 10 times more to avoid that unjust payment that I was being asked to pay. So solve it peacefully, negotiate. There is the right way, and then there is the legal way, and we continue to pass laws. We know our laws are not perfect. Every day, read in the paper that the Supreme Court in this state reversed their decision, or changed it again, because the law is just humanly written and can be interpreted in many ways. So back to Jesus, avoid it if you can. Okay, let me read this question. Okay, so the question is here, Matthew 10:28, to kill or destroy the soul. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul, but rather be afraid of him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. So hell is the term hell, and I need to look at the Aramaic, so I'm not going to do it now. How are we doing? Yeah, I have only about 10 minutes. So let me cover the teaching, and next time I'll try to pull up the Aramaic on the screen and go over that specific verse. But Gehenna Denura is mental turmoil. The questions are so connected today, even if they were not intended, because they're coming from different people. So Gehenna Denura, the term of hell, is an Aramaic idiom. It's not a place. Okay, so what Jesus is talking about here is that there are people who make you afraid. And if you let fear enter your life, then you can't live peacefully. If you're afraid that somebody's going to come in and take your stuff, you're constantly awake with every noise at night, with every noise during the day that somebody's going to come in and take your stuff. You live in that fear. If you leave home, you're thinking about what you left at home. Jesus talked a lot about that, you know, if you have possession, if you have an idea, if you have anything that you're protective of, it consumes you. Okay, so he's talking about, and then the broadcast that we have today is very similar to the broadcast he had at his time. You know, fear for your life. So respect the Roman soldiers when they walk by, or they can stab you to death. You're worth nothing to them. You're meaningless, and they won't get punished. We see that today. There are a lot of countries, a lot. Okay, I don't want to, you know, mention a single name, but where the human life is worthless, where the military can shoot somebody and get away with it. No accountability. The system supports that. The legal system supports that. Okay, they wrote laws that protect them from being punished, even in the human punishment. Not now. Their soul, I believe, and this is part of what Jesus is touching on. Their soul will be tortured. Okay, there is no way that you can grab a gun or a knife or break into somebody's house and take their stuff or hurt them. Take their stuff, you might be. We can split hairs on take their stuff, because there are some people who steal out of necessity, are like you're literally taking a piece of bread, and that you know, again, Jesus talked about root cause. Why is somebody in your community stealing bread? Okay, why is that need there? Right? Why aren't we putting bread somewhere in the middle of town where anybody who needed bread can go get it? Okay, instead of building a marble temple in Jerusalem and having people go there and pay taxes there at that temple, why aren't we doing, you know, something better in the middle of Galilee, in Nazareth, or in all the towns that he visited? That was his thinking. We need to change that. That was the prophet's thinking. And I think last time I spoke, I talked about, you know, maybe doing a bunch of sessions about the contrast between religion, and specifically picking on the Moses religion, versus what the prophets constantly preached, all the way culminating in Jesus. So here, I will go into the Aramaic, so I don't want to, you know, dwell in the question too much, because I want to give it its full meaning. Ultimately, that's what Jesus is after. It's like the minute you start fearing, then that person has won, or that system has won, and put you in a place where you are going to be tormented, and it will eat you up. It will eat your health. It will destroy your health, and you will end up dying anyway. You're better off walking away from those situations and building your life on the truth and the foundation of Jesus's teachings. And it's not Jesus that, you know, the person, it's his teachings. He gave his life up for his teachings to survive. And now we changed the religion, changed that. It became Jesus, the Christ, the super being that they developed about 300 some years later after his death, that dominates the religion. The religion of Jesus is love, is forgiveness, is peace. And I know he's turning in his grave, wherever his grave is, every time he sees what we've done with his religion. So I think that's the last of the questions. I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending the time with us. I most likely will be speaking next week. And if you have any questions, you can send them to the foundation. When I post this video on YouTube, you can ask questions there. I manage that, and I do take the questions in. I do send the ones that come to Dr. Errico. I send it to him as well. So if anything comes up while you know, we're separated the next few days, you know, capture that thought. Put it in a comment, and or in an email to the foundation, and we'll take care of you. Many blessings the rest of the week, and till next time.